strikeout rate. So after wondering if he was okay for a month, it looks like there's still plenty of miles left in that arm of his. Sale's hard hit rate allowed 34.8% to 37%. The fly ball rate allowed 38.6% to 45.8%. Actually increased from one month to the next, but so did his infield fly rate allowed, 2.9% to 15.2%. His May performance was so crazy that his season-long stats, outside of his ERA and record, of course, don't look too different from what he did last season when he posted a 12-4 record with a 2.11 ERA, 38.4% strikeout rate, 5.5% walk rate, and a 6.2 F4. Baseball has a way of evening things out, doesn't it? Our number one pitcher for the month of May and goes to Garrett Cole, Houston Astros. May stats, a 3-1 record, 41.2% strikeout rate, 2.6% walk rate, a 4.13 ERA, 2.03 Sierra, and a 0.8 F4 in 28 1/3 innings. This would have been, if there was a list last month, be the second straight month Cole has landed on this kind of list. It's also the second straight month where his traditional stats are lagging behind his peripherals. His process is clearly sound, though, so everything else will eventually follow suit. Even if he's on your fantasy baseball team and that ERA is bothering you, he more than makes up for it with a ridiculous strikeout rate and walk rate. His 39% season-long strikeout rate is on track to improve for the third consecutive year, while his 16.5% swing and strike rate is on pace to do the same thing. So you know these gains he's seen thus far are actually legitimate. One thing Cole would probably like to rectify is his current homers allowed per 9 innings rate, which is 1.51. His fly ball rate allowed has dropped 42.7% to 35.9%, but so is his infield fly rate from 12.1% to 5.4%. That's coincided with a rise in hard hit rate allowed, 31% to 36.9%. Yeah, so if you have Garrett Cole, don't at all be concerned about that high ERA. There's still about 4 months left to go in the 2019 MLB regular season, but that hasn't stopped some players from jumping out and erasing last year's memories. Whether the 2018 season was one they like to forget or a stepping stone to what they're currently accomplishing, each of the following 10 ball players have already outperformed their play from a year ago. To qualify for this list, players had to have already eclipsed their 2018 F4. Not all accumulating a full season's worth of innings or plate appearances, but they still made it because their performances are head and shoulders better than the year prior and either the same or less opportunity. Now that each of these guys have officially put 2018 in the rearview mirror, the only remaining question is how much higher they can elevate their performance. So our first player on this list of 10 guys is Matthew Boyd, Detroit Tigers. 2018 F4, 2.1. 2019 F4 so far, a 2.5. There isn't a ton of good stuff going on for the Tigers in 2019 as they continue their long rebuilding process. The emergence of Boyd in the rotation certainly helps though. One of the most notable improvements can be seen in his strikeout and walk rates. After posting a 18.2% strikeout rate and 8.8% walk rate in 2017 for Detroit, both of those numbers have improved each year since. He's currently on track to crush previous career high marks in strikeouts, 29.9% rate, and walks at 5.1% rate allowed. What also stands out is Boyd's ability to limit home runs. Heading into 2019, he never finished a year with a homers allowed per 9 innings rate below 1.20, but it's currently at 0.87. The performance of his slider has certainly helped in this area. Opposing hitters posted a 33.3% strikeout rate, 5.9% walk rate, and 52 WRC plus against it last year. And while this year's WRC plus is up at 56, the strikeout rate, 40.2%, and walk rate, 1.9%, have improved dramatically. He's throwing this offering at a 35.5% clip, which is among the top 10 in baseball when looking at qualified starting pitchers. Next player on this list for most improved, Cody Bellinger, Los Angeles Dodgers. A 2018 F4 of 3.6, 2019 F4 so far, 4.4. It was a given that Bellinger would be here, right? I sure hope so. He's not only eclipsed last year's performance in just 233 plate appearances, but this is all a new single season career high mark. Finding an offensive category that Bellinger isn't leading is kind of hard at the moment. Heading into Thursday's games, the 23-year-old is leading in F4 with a 4.4, batting average 378, on base percentage 464, slugging percentage 760, WRC plus 213, RBIs 51, and runs scored with 50. His 20 homers are actually second in the league, but he's only one behind Christian Yelich. His 52.4% hard hit rate is also among the league leaders, but while no qualified hitter has a higher line drive rate than Bellinger's 34.7%, he's been especially outrageous in front of the home fans at Chavez Ravine, evidenced by a 400 average, 483 OBP, 800 slugging with a 13.6% walk rate and 11% strikeout rate through 118 plate appearances. Our next player on this list is Lucas Giolito, Chicago White Sox. 2018 F4, negative 0.1. 2019 F4 so far, 2.1. Giolito's 2018 season was painful, but likely a good learning experience. Among qualified starters, his 6.13 ERA and 5.37 SIERA were both the worst in baseball. Through 60 innings this year, though he's very clearly among one of the league's most productive starters, armed with a 2.85 ERA and 3.74 SIERA. His current 8.5% walk rate is a huge improvement over last year's 11.6%, but his strikeout rate has nearly doubled, 16.1% in 18, 29.4% so far in 19. This change appears sustainable too, thanks to a 12.8% swinging strike rate. Giolito's last 6 starts since coming off the injury list have been especially impressive. His most recent 41 1/3 innings have included a 1.74 ERA, 29.7% strikeout rate, 6.5% walk rate, 5 wins, 4 quality starts, and no outings with more than 3 earned runs allowed. The right-hander's changeup usage has jumped from 15.9% in 18 to 23.4% thus far in 2019. It's produced a 31.1% strikeout rate, 23.1% last year, and 36 WRC plus 86 this year. Our next player on this list of players eclipsing their performances is Jorge Polanco, Minnesota Twins. 2018 F4 1.3, 2019 F4 so far 2.6. Saying the Twins are the best team in baseball is not a phrase many thought they'd be uttering on the 2nd of June. But that's why they play the game, folks. Polanco's 2018 campaign was abbreviated because of a PED suspension, but he's come back to double last year's F4 production and 101 fewer plate appearances. He's gotten to this point off the strength of a 335 average, 404 OBP, 583 slugging, while susses out to a 160 WRC plus. The infielder's 17.3% soft hit rate and 40.5% hard hit rate aren't only huge improvements over last year, 22.2% and 32.1% respectively, but they're on track to be new single-season career highs. He also boasts a much higher than usual 248 ISO, which may partially be coming from a huge decrease in ground ball rate, 35.9% to 24.3%, and an uptick in fly ball rate, 38% to 49.7%. If we look at Polanco's performance on fly balls last year, this wouldn't be a welcome sign since he produced a 71 WRC plus with a higher soft hit rate, 31.5%, than hard hit rate, 27%. It's been a different story in 2019 as he's compiled a 127 WRC plus off the strength of a 35.7% hard hit rate. Our next player on these 10 MLB players that have surpassed their 2018 performance is Frankie Montas. Oakland Athletics, a 2018 F4, 0.9, 2019 F4 so far, 2. Montas is another player who didn't spend the entire 2018 season in the majors. He tossed 65 innings for the A's, but his current performance is noticeable enough that I couldn't ignore it. He's tossed 64 innings for Oakland over the last couple months, and he's already more than doubled last season's F4. That's a good start to the season, I'd say. His strikeout rate has jumped nearly 10 percentage points, but the 26-year-old's batted ball profile looks incredibly different. After starting hard contact at a 46.1% clip in 2018, the numbers dropped all the way down to 35.4%. It's also been accompanied with an elevated ground ball rate, 43.7% to 51.7%. This seems to be a result of a shift in pitch mix too. Montas is currently throwing his fastball at a 56.9% clip, which would be a single-season career low. It was 72.4% last year. He's incorporated a split finger, which he's thrown at a 17.4% rate. That pitch has generated a 42.9% strikeout rate, 22% swinging strike rate, and a 52 WRC+. Our next player on this list is Josh Bell, Pittsburgh Pirates. 2018 F4, 0.9. 2019 F4 so far, 2.4. If Josh Bell doesn't hit a homer, does the day even count? That's how often it feels like he's slugging baseballs over outfield walls these days. He has 18 dingers in just 232 plate appearances, which has already surpassed last year's 12 and 583 appearances. At this rate, he'll set a new single-season career high by the All-Star break. It's currently 26. The power is the most eye-popping part of his performance, but it's not like that's all he's doing. Bell is a proud owner of a 332 average, a 409 OBP, 718 slugging, and a 188 WRC+. He is getting more balls in the air, but it's all about quality of contact for him. Entering this year, Bell hadn't finished with a soft hit rate below 19.2%, or a hard hit rate above 33.8%. Those numbers are currently at 8.7% and 49.7% respectively. It hasn't exactly led to more contact, but the first baseman's 80.7% swing rates on strikes is a huge increase from his career stats of 69%, and it's among the best in baseball heading into Thursday's action. With more swings on pitches he can do damage with, should be no surprise that his quality contact numbers have taken such a jump. Great start so far for Josh Bell. Next pitcher is Robbie Ray, Arizona Diamondbacks. 2018 F4 of 1, 2019 F4 so far, 1.4. Lots of strikeouts, lots of walks, and lots of hard contact. That's normally the story with Robbie Ray, and that seems to be more of the same in 2019. His 30% strikeout rate is in line with what he did between 2017 and 18, but so is his 12.8% walk rate and his 43.5% hard hit rate allowed. Since the start of the 2017 season, though, his pitch mix has certainly changed. Both of those breaking pitches have produced a WRC plus against below 80. But something Ray should probably scratch completely is his sinker. He tossed it just 11 times in 2018 and has already used it 75 times this season. Opposing hitters have posted a 16.7% walk rate, 12.5% strikeout rate, and a 256 WRC plus against it. What's also interesting is how productive he's been in Arizona despite some of his peripherals. Ray has posted a 3.32 ERA in 19 home innings, and while a strikeout rate of 34.9% and walk rate of 9.6% are much better than what he's done on the road, 27.9% and 14.2% respectively, it's also paired with a 53.3% hard hit rate allowed. Thankfully, Ray has limited his line drives to a 15.9% clip and is generating around ground balls at 52.3% of the time. Alright, our next player on this list is Rafael Devers, Boston Red Sox. 2018 F4 of 1, 2019 F4 so far, 1.9. The Red Sox were dominant from start to finish last year, but Devers wasn't a consistent part of said domination. Although Boston has struggled much more than expected in the early going, the 22-year-old third baseman has picked up his production in a big way. Through 235 plate appearances, he's hitting for a 325 average, a 385 OBP, and a 505 slugging. That's led to a rise in WRC plus from 90 to 132, and a decrease in strikeout rate from 24.7% to 15.7%. This is the kind of step forward any hitting coach loves to see. Devers has actually seen his fly ball rate decrease 10 percentage points, with all of that going to his line drive rate after posting a 15.2% clip in that category last year. It's all the way up to 25.7% currently. That helps to explain his 367 BABIP heading into Thursday's games, which is a huge increase from 2018's 281 mark. His line drive rate is basically up against every pitch he's faced too. Among the 6 offerings he's seen at least 60 times in 2019, Devers owns a line drive rate above 25% against all but one slider. All but one, which that's being the slider, 18.2%. This includes a 34.5% clip against four-seamers, which is a sizable jump from the 23.2% rate he posted last year. All right, we have 2 more players on this list. Our next guy is Ken Giles, Toronto Blue Jays. 2018 F4 0.8, 2019 F4 so far 1.1. It took a little while, but Giles is back to his dominating ways. After posting a 35.7% strikeout rate in 2016 for the Houston Astros. The number decreased each of the two following years, 33.7